You read the same page once, twice, then 3 times. Each pass feels smoother. The headings look familiar. The highlighted sentence practically finishes itself, and your confidence meter climbs. Then the blue stick figure closes the book and faces a blank answer card. Explain the idea without looking. Nothing. That uncomfortable gap is the point of this episode. The scene feels ordinary because this study error is ordinary too. Rereading can help you encounter and repair information, but the feeling of familiarity is not proof that you can retrieve it later. Today we will follow one student, one book, one highlighter, one answer card, and one calendar through a better test of learning. Read, close, recall, check, and space. The trap appeared clearly in a 2006 set of experiments with prose passages. Students who repeatedly studied the material remembered more on a test 5 minutes later. But after 2 days or 1 week, students who had practiced retrieving the material remembered more than those who kept studying it. Here is the twist. Repeated study could also produce greater confidence, even when later recall was worse. So the 5-minute winner was not the 1-week winner, and the strategy that felt most convincing was not necessarily the strategy that built the most durable access. The delayed test, not the study session, reveals what stayed available. One experiment does not settle every subject or learner, but this reversal gives our story its central question. Are you practicing seeing the answer or practicing producing it? Why does another pass feel so productive? Processing becomes easier. The sentence is no longer surprising. The layout predicts what comes next, and the right answer looks obvious while it remains on the page. Researchers often discuss this as a metacognitive problem. We use the fluency of the present moment to predict future memory. That prediction can be poorly calibrated. Fluency is a real experience, not stupidity, and familiarity is not fake. It is simply evidence that the material has been encountered, not a direct measurement of later recall. What feels easy while visible may be hard when absent. There is no single familiarity switch in the brain that explains every case. The practical mistake is treating a smoother input as if it were a successful output. Retrieval practice changes the job. Instead of taking the answer in again, you try to reconstruct it from a cue before you can see it. That attempt exposes which links are available and which are missing. A large meta-analysis comparing testing with restudy found an overall advantage for retrieval practice, while also showing that results depend on factors such as the kind of test and the delay. A broad review of learning techniques rated practice testing and distributed practice as high-utility approaches, while rereading received a lower rating. Lower does not mean useless. A first reading is necessary, and a targeted reread can repair a specific gap. The attempt also tells you where the next minute of study belongs. The boundary is simple. Exposure builds the representation. Retrieval checks whether you can reach it. Now, place the answer in front of our student. Of course, the stick figure says, I knew that. This is recognition. The correct idea is present, and it feels familiar among the options. Turn the card over, remove the choices, and ask for the idea in their own words. That is recall. Recognition and recall are both legitimate tasks, and real exams or jobs may require either one. But if the goal is to explain, write, or use an idea without the page, a recognition-only study loop can rehearse the wrong demand. Choose practice that resembles the performance you will actually need. The blank card is not punishment. It is a diagnostic. It converts a vague feeling of knowing into an observable answer, even if that answer is incomplete. What if the first attempt fails? Good. Failure reveals where to look, but failure alone is not the lesson. The student writes a rough answer, opens the book, compares the two, and corrects the missing step. Feedback matters because an unchecked guess can leave an error in place. The useful cycle is attempt, check, correct, then attempt again later. Do not turn this into harder is always better. A question can be so difficult that it produces no useful retrieval, and a hint can make practice possible. Useful difficulty challenges access while leaving a route to correction. Also, do not replace every minute of reading with testing. Use rereading after the attempt, when it has a specific job. Verify the answer, repair the gap, and refine the next cue. The calendar changes the final ingredient, time. Trying again immediately can become another form of short-term familiarity. Spacing the next attempt makes the answer less available and asks memory to do real work again. A 2022 review highlighted spacing, retrieval practice, and better metacognitive judgment as durable principles of learning. A 2021 classroom meta-analysis covered 222 independent studies and 48,478 students, finding that quizzing improved academic learning on average, with results moderated by how practice was designed. That scale is encouraging, but it is not a promise of one fixed boost. The right interval depends on the material and how long you need to remember it. Spacing is a schedule for returning, not a ritual of delay. Start practically. Recall today, again tomorrow, then several days later, adjusting when retrieval is impossible or effortless. So our student returns to the same desk. The same page is there, but the sequence is different. Read until the idea makes sense. Close the book. Recall it on a blank card. Check the source and correct the gap. Space the next attempt on the calendar. The loop is small enough to use with a definition, a process, or a paragraph, and honest enough to show when another look is actually needed. Then ask for the idea one more time without looking. The answer is not perfect, but it exists, and that is better evidence than a glowing familiarity meter. The learner has not memorized a trick. They have gathered better evidence. Rereading still has a role. It just no longer gets to grade its own homework. Before you leave, try one last recall. What are the 5 steps? If you can produce read, close, recall, check, space without scrolling back, you've already changed the task from seeing learning to testing it.